You're sitting on the couch, your dog is next to you, everything seems fine, and then you glance over and catch it. That slow, suspicious turn of the head, the whites of the eyes showing the stillness, just staring at you sideways like you personally wronged them in a previous life. You take a photo, you post it, everyone laughs, hashtag side-eye, hashtag drama queen. But here's the thing, that look your dog is giving you, it's not a mood, it's not a meme, it's a message. And most people have no idea what it actually means. Dog body language is one of the most misread forms of communication between humans and animals, and the side-eye might be the most misunderstood expression of all. Because it looks so human, we assume we already understand it. We don't. First, the physical part. When a dog shows that sideways glance with the whites of their eyes visible, there's a specific term for it in animal behavior: whale eye. The name comes from the shape. When a dog turns their head but keeps their gaze fixed on something, the eye stretches to cover more visual ground. The white part, the sclere, becomes visible at the edges. It's not something dogs do on purpose to look a certain way. It's a byproduct of the body's position relative to what the dog is watching. And that detail matters enormously, because in dog body language, the eyes don't work alone. They're part of a whole body signal: the position of the head, the tension in the jaw, the stillness of the body, the set of the ears. All of that is happening at the same time. The side eye is never just the side eye. It's one piece of a larger picture that most people never read past the first frame. What makes it so easy to misread is that it looks expressive in a human way. We're wired to read faces. We see that sideways glance and we map it onto human emotions: sassiness, judgment, attitude. It makes for a great photo. It makes for a terrible understanding of what the dog is actually feeling. Here's what animal behaviorists consistently point to when this expression comes up. In many contexts, whale eye is a stress signal. Not always extreme stress, not panic, but discomfort, unease, a dog that is not entirely okay with what is happening right now. It often appears when a dog has something they value: a bone, a toy, a resting spot, and a person or another animal gets too close. The dog doesn't want to move, but they're also tracking the potential threat. So they hold their body still and move only their eyes, keeping watch without escalating. It can appear when someone leans over a dog, reaches toward their face, or invades their space in a way the dog finds uncomfortable. The dog isn't attacking, they're not running, they're doing something in between: holding still, watching carefully, signaling that this situation has their full attention for reasons that are not entirely comfortable. It shows up when dogs are in situations they find unpredictable or mildly threatening: a new person in the house, a child moving erratically nearby, an unfamiliar sound. The side eye in these moments is the dog's way of monitoring something without committing to a reaction yet. This is important information. A dog giving whale eye near a child, near food, or in a tense situation is worth paying attention to. It doesn't mean the dog is about to do something, but it does mean the dog is not relaxed, and reading that early is always better than missing it. Here's where it gets more nuanced. Not every side eye is a warning signal. Not every flash of white sclere means your dog is uncomfortable. Sometimes your dog is just lying in an awkward position. They're comfortable, they are relaxed, they don't want to lift their whole head, but something caught their attention, so they swivel their eyes in that direction. The white shows, the expression looks loaded. But the dog is completely fine. Context is everything. A dog sprawled out on a warm couch, body loose, tail relaxed, ears soft, and they give you that sideways glance when you rustle a snack bag. That's not stress. That's curiosity from a comfortable dog who can't be bothered to move. The same eye shape in a completely different physical context means something completely different. This is why single signals are almost meaningless in dog body language. You cannot read one feature of a dog's expression in isolation and know what it means. The whites of the eyes are just data. The rest of the body is the context that tells you how to interpret that data. A stiff body, a closed mouth, stillness, and whale eye, that combination tells you something different than a loose body, soft ears, a slightly open, relaxed mouth, and whale eye. Same expression on the surface. Completely different emotional states underneath. So if the side eye is a signal, what is it a signal of? What is the dog actually trying to say? At its core, the expression tends to communicate one of a few things. Sometimes it's mild wariness. I'm watching something I'm not sure about and I haven't decided what to do yet. Sometimes it's a very early, very quiet version of please stop. I'm not comfortable with what's happening and I'd like it to stop without making a big deal of it. And sometimes it's just the visual byproduct of a dog tracking something they're curious about. Dogs communicate in layers. They rarely go straight from calm to a dramatic reaction. There's almost always a sequence. Softening signals first, then clearer signals, then harder ones if nothing changes. Whale eye tends to sit in the earlier middle part of that sequence. It comes after a dog has already tried to signal discomfort in subtler ways. Looking away, shifting their weight, yawning, licking their lips. And those signals either weren't noticed or didn't work. This is why understanding this expression matters practically, not just academically. When you learn to read it accurately, you catch things earlier. You give a dog space before they feel they need to ask for it more loudly. You create an environment where the dog doesn't feel like it has to escalate because someone noticed the first message. That changes the relationship in a real way. The most common mistake is treating the expression as purely comedic and stopping there. That's not wrong exactly. Sometimes it genuinely is funny and harmless. But it becomes a problem when that's the only interpretation people ever apply. If you always read the side-eye as your dog being dramatic, you'll miss the times it's telling you something real, and those times matter. The second mistake is reinforcing the uncomfortable version. If your dog gives whale eye because you're doing something they don't love, say adjusting them while they're resting or hovering over them, and you respond by laughing and taking a photo, you haven't acknowledged what they were trying to communicate. Over time, dogs that feel consistently unheard tend to either shut down and stop signaling or escalate to signals that are harder to ignore. Neither of those is a good outcome. The third mistake is misidentifying what triggered it. People often assume the side-eye is directed at them personally when it might be directed at something completely different. Another pet nearby, an object, a sound coming from outside. Dogs don't always look at what they're most focused on. Their body orientation can be misleading. And the fourth mistake, which is subtle, is anthropomorphizing it so completely that you stop observing the actual dog in front of you. The meme version of the dog side-eye is a character. Your dog is an individual. Their expressions are theirs, shaped by their specific history, their specific comfort level, and the specific moment they are in. Your dog's side-eye is not a personality trait. It's not an attitude. It's not proof that they've developed sarcasm. It's a behavior with real meaning. Meaning that shifts depending on the situation, the body language surrounding it, and the dog you're actually looking at. Sometimes it means they're watching something carefully. Sometimes it means they'd appreciate a little more space. Sometimes it means they're completely relaxed and just couldn't be bothered to turn their head. The difference between those things is readable once you know what to look for. And once you start reading it, you stop seeing a funny expression and start seeing a dog that is constantly, quietly trying to tell you how they feel. That's worth paying attention to. Even when, especially when, it looks like they're just judging your life choices.